hairy one. What it is, y'all. Oh no, you cute. You cute little boy. Is that a cute little boy? I'm a cute little boy. Hi. I love you. Hey guys, what's up? It's Kasheera here, back with another video. I am going to be sharing my labor and delivery story with you guys. If you guys didn't see my birth vlog, check it out right here. Right here. And Mark is actually in the back room with the baby, and he's trying to put him to sleep. So if the baby, you hear the baby making little noises, that's what's going down. So yeah, basically gonna start it off with how everything began. First of all, let me just say that it's so awesome to kind of be on the other side of the birth process. Obviously, I had so much fear. I don't know why I had so much fear about giving birth or just having a baby in general. Maybe it's like, you know, everything you see in the media when you see women giving birth, it looks so like so I was like so scared, and I didn't know like what to expect or how everything, I didn't know what to expect and how everything was gonna happen. So let me just say, before everything really got started, I had just gotten a doula with this organization. I'll put the organization link in the description box, but I just got a doula, Imogen Ker. She's so freaking amazing. And so I was kind of like preparing. I took a childbirth class, and me and my doula, we talked too about what concerns I had, any fears that I had going into the whole process of giving birth. And so it was really nice to have that support. So Monday, October 5th, I woke up. You know, you have to go to the bathroom frequently throughout the night. I woke up, and for the first time I saw blood, and I was freaking out. So I woke Mark up. I was like, oh my gosh, Mark, there's blood. Look at this blood. Like, what does this mean? Is everything okay? Is baby all right? And we were like, all right, let's just stay calm. We'll call the doctor. We had to wait till the doctor's office opened. And then we called the doctor. They were like, well, the doctor's not going to be in today, so you could come in and talk to a nurse, but you won't be able to see the doctor because he's not going to be in today. So I started, that didn't really comfort me at all. I'm like, I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'm only going to talk to a nurse. Like, so I started Googling like blood. I told how many weeks I was pregnant, and a lot of women said that it was normal, and it could mean that things were going to be progressing fast, and like that means the baby's about to be here. Something called bloody show, or you're losing your mucus plug. So I thought, okay, maybe it's that. So I just kind of was like relaxing, and then we felt for the baby, like trying to make the baby move. He started moving. I was like, okay, he's okay. So the rest of that day I was like feeling crampy. But I mean, I didn't think nothing. I mean, I felt different than I had felt my whole pregnancy. So I kind of thought like, okay, this could mean like labor might happen soon. So then Tuesday, I started having like actual like cramps. They started feeling like period cramps. Tuesday going into Wednesday, the contractions, I started having actual contractions like, but it was really like sporadic. It didn't follow any pattern. So I was like, okay, so like I think that I'm going into labor because these are actual contractions. They were starting to get more intense. So the next day, Wednesday, as soon as I started having any kind of contraction, I called my doula, and my doula, she came over like every day to kind of sit with me, to kind of listen to what the contractions sounded like, and she was just like so awesome, and especially helping me with like positions and different relaxation techniques, and also we came up with a birth plan to have so that the doctor would know exactly what I wanted. So yeah, Wednesday the contractions started picking up, and like they were getting like a lot more intense. So I was kind of like trying to do the breathing techniques that I learned in the birth class, and these contractions were pretty bad, but these contractions were really intense, but they were like I could like breathe through them, like they weren't crazy. So Wednesday night, the contractions really started to get more intense, like more painful. And I was starting to like feel like, oh my gosh, like I think this could be like it. So I think I held out until like Thursday morning in the AM. So like Thursday 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I was like, all right, Mark, I think it's time for us to go to the hospital. So I go into the hospital. Now, let me tell you guys, this whole time, my doctor told me, I told him that I wanted a natural birth. I wanted to be as unmedicated as possible. So he told me, when the time came to wait out as long as possible, he said, you're more likely to have no interventions if you come in right when you're like about to have a baby, like 9 centimeters. You come in, you about to have a baby. So I go in. Oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you guys. So I had a hard time with vaginal exams, and you know, all my prenatal appointments, we never had to do a vaginal exam. But I knew that once I was going into labor, they would have to check me. So I told my doula that had like a fear that would be really painful. I don't know, I just don't really like vaginal exams. I feel like sometimes the doctors aren't that gentle. It depends on who it is and what your comfort level is with your doctor, but I was like, you go to the hospital, they're going to check you, and it's going to be a different nurse, not someone you're familiar with. And anyway, so I had a fear about that anyway. So we go in. Of course, they have to check me to see how far along I am. And like, that whole process was so uncomfortable. It was painful. I feel like that just started it off kind of in a bad place. Because like, it just hurt. It hurt a lot. So yeah, so I was like emotional. I was crying, and that we didn't get into like the actual serious labor pains just yet. So anyway, we go in, they check me. I was having a hard time with the first nurse checking me. So my actual doctor that I had been seeing, he checked me. He was able to check me without pain. So I think it was just my comfort with my own doctor, like, you don't just want somebody coming in going like, boop. So, yeah, he was able to check me, and he told me that I was only 1 centimeter dilated. So I was like, what? Like, guys, the pain that I was feeling, I really thought that I was further along than I was. So I was kind of bummed. They told me I had to stay an hour for them to kind of monitor me, and then we basically were sent back home, which was actually okay because we forgot. We had brought everything except the medical papers that they needed. So I was like, all right, whatever. So we go home. Guys, when I got home, the contractions like really picked up. They were so painful. I was like almost delirious. Like, I couldn't even go to sleep. That's how painful they were. Like, extremely, extremely painful. And the timing of them were still not consistent. So I was like, oh, I can't even go back in because the contractions are like intense, and then they're not intense, and they're intense. But the whole time it's like I couldn't sleep through contractions. The pain that I felt with the contractions was like not something you can sleep through. So, oh right. So, and then the whole time, guys, Mark, we didn't get any recording of me going through contractions because I would have been kind of angry if Mark was recording me while I was going through the contractions. Like, you look over and you see somebody filming? No. So it seemed like the contractions were like mainly in my back. So I think I was having like mostly a back labor, and each time I would have a contraction, Mark applied pressure. Like, I'm talking every contraction. So Mark didn't even really get any sleep. And that started Wednesday. Mark started applying the pressure to my back when the contractions actually started feeling like something like, uh-oh. So it was nice having him to do that. And then also when my doula was here, she would also apply pressure in certain areas and help me through each contraction. So Thursday during the day, we just tried to like work through it, let the labor progress. So we were kind of chilling out and working through each contraction. And also I was told to like sip water after each contraction, so I was making sure to do that. And the contractions, guys, so the pain level, like, I thought the contractions Wednesday were bad, and then Thursday came and those contractions were even worse. Guys, the pain of contractions. Like, I thought that they would probably be like some bad period cramps. No. And I think it's because it like comes in waves and then they last. Like, so you gotta go through the pain comes and then it's painful for like a minute and then it goes away. You guys, it honestly felt like I can't even describe it. It just, ooh, it was so painful. So yeah, so it was good to have Mark and Imogen there to like help me work through the pain. So guys, Thursday night going into Friday morning, the pain was like, it was like, oh my gosh, like it had me on the floor, like, oh my gosh, it was starting to get to that place. So I was like, oh my gosh, I think I need to go to the hospital again, like, because my doctor, when we were there during the day, he like kind of thought, he didn't think that I was gonna have the baby like anytime soon. He thought, I'm like, listen, I'm in pain, okay? So, right guys, so we held out until about 5 a.m. Friday morning, and I was like, Mark, all right, we have to go back in. Like, I didn't even want to be at home going through the contractions. Like, it's all hot in our apartment, and I just want to be there just in case, it's further along than we think. So we go back in Friday, like 5 a.m., and they check me. Was it painful? It was painful that time they checked me. It was painful every time they checked me, basically. Okay, so they checked me, and I was, I think, 2 centimeters, almost 3 centimeters dilated. And the nurse admitted me. So I was like, yes, I'm finally in there. So they assigned me to a room. They rolled me over to the room. My doula was there. Mark was there. We had everything we needed. The birth ball, everything. Of course, my doctor wants to come in, like, I guess an hour later and say, he's like, yes, I see they admitted you, but honestly, I don't think that you are going to be going into labor anytime soon. I'm like, I am in labor. What are you talking about? So I'm just like listening to him, like, Like, I know that I'm in labor. I'm about to have this baby. And you sit here talking about stuff, you don't know why they admitted me, and you don't think I'm going into labor. Bye, Felicia. So, yeah, he is like, I don't think that you're going to be going into labor anytime soon. But, I mean, they admitted you, so, I mean, we'll see. So, I mean, that's the crazy part, guys. You can have some seriously painful contractions, but if you're not dilated enough, they'll just be like, no, go back home. Like, so they don't care that you're in that much pain. Like, what the heck? My doula, Mark, and I, we worked through the contractions all of Friday during the day. We were in the hospital, all of Friday during the day, and the contractions were like, oh my gosh, y'all, they were so intense. They were like, I don't want to be too loud because the baby is getting put to sleep. But they were, I didn't even, and like, guys, I was thinking, like, the pain can't get worse than this. Like, please tell me the pain can't get worse than this. So, after I had so many nurses, different nurses come in and out with their shifts, and one of the nurses said that I could try some other pain relief options since I didn't want the epidural. All the doctors were asking if I wanted the epidural though, but I was like, no, I'm trying to go natural. So they were like, okay. So I was like really trying to stick it out, going natural. But I decided to try other pain relief options other than the epidural. Stadol, I had got the Stadol IV. It's like a pain relief, but it's only lasts like 2 hours. So I took that. It made me feel really weird and dizzy. Really, really weird. But for the 2 hours I took it, I was able to get some sleep. Then, once that wore off, I decided to get morphine. Y'all, don't even ask me why I decided to get morphine. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. once you end the pain and everything, you just might make a choice that you probably wouldn't have made. Anyway, so the morphine that was supposed to give me pain relief for 2 hours, but it didn't do anything other than make my chest feel heavy. So, and like honestly, now that I'm thinking back on it, like all these medicine probably wasn't good for my body or the whole process. But morphine didn't do anything. They checked me around I think 6 on Friday. After I had got the Sadol, I had dilated about 5 centimeters. I moved to 5, so I was like, okay, yay. So then I think another 6 hours went by. So then another 6 hours went by, and it was like midnight, and they checked me again, and I was still at 6 centimeters. And the contractions that I felt from 6 p.m. to 12 midnight were just like so much more painful than I even could ever imagine the pain getting to that point. So I didn't really, like, I think I was just done. I was at this point where I just felt like I don't want to feel another contraction. Like, yeah, I just had got to that point. And so my doula, Imogen, actually was like waiting out in the car just to get some sleep out there. My doula actually stayed close by. So when I made the choice I wanted to get the epidural, I called her and I was like, I'm thinking about getting the epidural. Like, what do you think? Because we had looked in research like pros and cons of getting the epidural, and you know what could possibly happen or it could all go smoothly. But at that point, I was just, I don't even care. I just want the epidural. Like, I don't want to go through this pain anymore. So, plus, guys, that with the fact that I had started kind of having pains on Tuesday and it was now Friday. So this was a long time working through contractions, not really getting any sleep. So I ended up making the choice to get the epidural. And then, so the anesthesiologist came in and they said that my doula and Mark, they couldn't be in the room, so they left and they gave me the epidural. The epidural didn't hurt at all. Like, when they put the hep lock in, that hurt more than the epidural. Like, the epidural was fine. Like, and you hear all these things about, oh man, the needle's so big, and maybe the needle was big, but I couldn't see it. It didn't hurt. So after I got the epidural, I was like waiting for it to kick in, and they kept asking me like, do you still feel any contractions now? Do you feel it now? I'm like, yeah, I still feel a little bit. So they kept adjusting me, and then eventually I couldn't feel any of the contractions, and I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank goodness. So I was finally able to get like a full night rest after like being in labor for like 3-4 days. So I slept really good, and then I woke up that morning, I think like 9 a.m. and the new nurse that came in, oh my gosh, she was so chipper, and like she was just the best nurse ever. She was like, right, so I checked you and you're 9 centimeters and we're gonna have a baby today. And I was like, yay. I didn't look like that. I was more like, but I was excited on the inside, like, yes, we're gonna have this baby, finally. So yeah, so the only thing I could eat after they gave me the epidural was ice chips. But before I had gotten the epidural, I was getting regular meals. Like, they let me eat, like, you know, throughout the whole thing. Like, you know, they actually had served me meals, which was really nice. But anyway, after I had the epidural, only ice chips. So I saw the doctors coming in and the other people, and they were setting up and preparing the tools and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what those tools are for. But anyway, oh, guys, so I did have a small scare, even though I was so, like, kind of out of it that I didn't panic because I was just in such a calm mode. But the nurse rushed into the room and she was like, all right, they put the oxygen mask on me and they were like, we needed to push. Baby's heart rate is dropping fast. And we need you to push 3 hard pushes, and then I need you to push 3 hard pushes. So I was like, all right, okay. Like, so they put me in a position and I started pushing. I pushed 3 times, and then they were like, all right, the baby's heart rate is back to normal. So that's good. All right. So now, and then she was trying to tell the doctor, right, guys. And then she was trying to tell the doctor what had just happened. I think I had 4 intense contractions, like right back to back, and so maybe I put the baby in some kind of distress or something. But anyway, after that, she said that I was pretty much complete as far as dilation and effacement. So yeah, so she said, all right, now we're gonna start pushing with each contraction. So as I had a contraction, that's when I would push. I would wait until I could have a contraction, and then I would push. And guys, okay, so they had my legs propped up, and I was kind of laying flat on my back, which they say that that's not good, but I mean, I guess it gives them the best view, but whatever, as long as the baby, you can get the baby out. So I was pushing as hard as I could. Mark was like my freaking birth coach. Yo, Mark was so involved and so much a part of this whole process. Like, he was so involved. Even the nurses commented like they never seen a guy so much involved in the whole process. Like, he was so amazing. But yeah, so they were all like, my doula, Mark, they were coaching me through pushing, and it was so awesome to have that positive feedback. Like, after each push, they were like, good, keep going, like, you're doing great. So it was nice having that, because then I didn't feel like defeated, like, you know, like I felt like I could keep doing this, I'm doing good. So yeah, I just kept pushing. I think I pushed for probably like 40 minutes to an hour, and then the doctor grabbed scissors and like cut me down there. And I think after the baby crowned and he was about to come out, I started to tear, and so he cut me. I don't know if it was really to prevent the tear from getting worse, or if it was just out of like convenience. Like, maybe he was like, this is taking too long, I don't know. But yeah, he cut me down there. So that was kind of like so it was a episiotomy, but it was a second degree tear. And yeah, but anyway, once he did that, then the baby came right out, and then he was like, all right, reach down and grab your baby. So I reached down and I grabbed him and brought him up to my chest, and like, he was like warm and slimy, and like, he was so perfect and beautiful, and it's like just the most amazing thing. Like, you've been carrying this baby for 9 months, and you like have no clue what he looks like, and then you reach down and you look into his eyes. It was just the most amazing, beautiful experience ever of my whole entire life. And oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. So yeah, so he was finally out, he was finally here, and we actually did delayed the cutting of the umbilical cord. I think we delayed it only until it stopped pulsing. So once the umbilical cord stopped pulsing, then they cut the umbilical cord, or they clamped it. Yeah, they cut it and clamped it. And then we did like skin to skin for about, I think 30 minutes. Or Mark, how long did we do skin to skin before they started doing stuff?
An hour or 2 hours.
Yeah, so we did skin to skin for like an hour to 2 hours, and then we moved to another room, and then they cleaned them and everything. But the baby was never, like, they never took the baby away, so the baby was always kind of in our presence, so that was cool. Yeah, guys, so of course my grandma came the day that I had the baby. She came after everything was done, like after I got sewn up and everything. And oh, I didn't even tell you guys that my actual doctor, the doctor that was telling me that I probably wasn't gonna have a baby soon, he wasn't even available to deliver the baby. So I had another doctor, which it was kind of, I mean, I don't know what it would have been like to have a doctor that I was familiar with. It might have been more, I mean, I don't know if it would have been better, but it's nice to have a familiar face deliver your baby instead of some complete stranger. But he was the doctor that did deliver. He was like kind of like right to business, so it wasn't like, I don't know, there was just like straight to what he had to do. It wasn't like no friendly chit chat or nothing like that. So anyway, yeah, my grandma came and she said when she came into her, she didn't even realize that I had the baby in my arm. She's like, you got a baby? Yeah, I got a baby. So yeah, it was just a beautiful experience. Of course, after the epidural wore off, I could really feel everything, like all the pain. I could feel all the swollenness, the tenderness down there. Oh my gosh, I was just like, whoa. So of course, you know, the first thing they want you to do is they want to make sure you can urinate. They want to make sure you can have a bowel movement, and they give you everything. They gave me the Tux pads, the cooling pads, the witch hazel pads, and regular pads, disposable panties, this Dermaplast soothing spray, and They gave me everything I needed, like as far as the healing process, and then they gave me I think pain reliever, and then then we stayed in the hospital for about an extra 4 or 5 days because they said the baby's jaundice levels was like kind of high, so they wanted to make sure that they were going down instead of going up before we could be discharged. And they finally did go down. But if you watch the birth vlog, you'll see all that. And yeah, I did it. Like, oh my gosh, it's the most craziest experience, but it's so amazing. And then like, the only thing is, once you have the baby and like you go home, it's like you have this little fragile little person to take care of, and you got to make sure you're being as gentle as possible and holding the baby right, but you got to learn it all yourself. And yeah, it was such a beautiful experience. I don't know if next time I'll get the epidural, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of happy that it's an option, and everything went smoothly with me getting the epidural. I just don't know if I want to do that next time, because once you get the epidural, they increase the fluids. And guys, the amount of fluids that I received before each kind of pain reliever thing that they gave me were excessive, I feel. And like when I went home, like I was like really everything was swollen, like because of all the fluids that they were pumping me with, the IV fluids. And so the only thing is, afterwards, it was when I would take my little walks in the hallways. First of all, it was extremely hard to even just walk down the hallway, because everything's swollen, everything is sensitive. And then I had stitches. I had inside stitches, outside stitches. They had to stitch up that cut, the episiotomy. But it was extremely hard to breathe too. And I was trying to tell them like I'm having a hard time breathing, but they just checked my blood pressure and said everything looked normal. So I'm like, okay, like is it supposed to be hard? Am I supposed to have a hard time breathing after I have a baby? But what I think it was the fluids, guys. I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been the epidural medicine. I don't know. But this was after I had the baby. So, and then I was still, the only thing that I felt like was lasting was the amount of fluids. I was swollen. My ankles were swollen. My thighs, my legs, my arms. Everything was bigger than it should have been. And it wasn't until I got home those first couple nights and I sweated out, like profusely sweating, that the fluids, my limbs and everything kind of got back to their normal size. So maybe there was also some excess fluids in around that area. I have no idea, but that's the only thing I can think of that would cause it to be hard to breathe. Then I also had this like bobbing feeling like this when I would sit down, and I knew that wasn't normal. So, but yeah, that's the only reason I probably wouldn't want to get the epidural next time, because I don't want all those. I don't want to be pumped with all those fluids. Like, I'd rather just drink water and keep myself hydrated that way. That's just me. So anyway, it was an awesome experience. I'm so grateful for Imogen. She's amazing doula. I'll put the link to the site, and I'll put the link to the site that I used to find a doula. And also Mark was just like so phenomenal just during the whole process, and just being there for me and helping me through it. And we worked together as a team, and it was so awesome. So yeah, that is my labor and delivery story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned. I got a hair update coming up. And also subscribe to the K&M Life. That's where all our vlogs are, showing off the baby and everything that he's doing, all his little milestones and stuff. And also follow me on Snapchat, it's Cash TV, and Instagram at Cash TV. Alright, I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Finally home. Little Makai is home with us.